Yeah.
But the problem is a guy like Conor McGregor comes along and he talks mad shit and he lights the world on fire. And everybody wants to talk shit now. And I get it. I get it. I mean, it sells pay-per-view. It's good for the sport. It's
they
fun
make
to
more
watch.
money if they talk shit, right?
Dude, they just released this thing on, someone did it on how much Conor McGregor, he sold more pay-per-views in a year than the entire roster combined.
Wow.
You compare all the other fights of like, I forget how it was done, but Brendan Schaub sent it to me. Did he send it to you, Jamie?
No, but I saw it. I'll try to find it.
And what kind of money are we talking about?
I got it right here.
I don't know what he gets paid. I don't understand. I don't know how much he gets per pay-per-view. But look at this. The entire roster drew 3.3 to 3.2, 3 to 3.2 million in 2014. Conor McGregor drew double that on his own in 12 months. While GSP holds the records for the most pay-per-view buys in total, because he had a lot of pay-per-views, more than Conor. Conor holds basically every other pay-per-view record. McGregor has drawn an insane 6.85 million buys in just 15 months. Holy shit. Wow. He drew twice as many buys in 1 year than the entire UFC roster in 2014. Just his fights.
So where's what's he making?
Well, that's a good question. Like, he was saying recently that he wouldn't fight unless it's, well, actually, Nate Diaz was saying that he wouldn't fight, rather, who was his opponent in the last, not this last fight, which was Eddie Alvarez, but the fight before that. There was a rematch with Nate. Nate beat him in the first fight, and then it was a real close fight in the second fight, and Conor won a decision. And Nate's saying that he won't fight unless he gets $20 million. And a lot of people say, well, that's too much. He's not going to get paid that. I don't know how much, like, how much money is there? Like, let's look at it this way.
Well, you mean $20 million in purse or in endorsements or in?
Well, it's all going to be purse. But
and pay-per-view is separate than purse.
Right. Well, no. Pay-per-view is based on purse. Or purse is based on pay-per-view.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Like, you get points, or you get a piece of the action, or you can get a guarantee, right? So if it's going to be a guarantee, like say if that's what he said, and obviously I'm not a mathematician, we know this, right? So if he said $20 million, that's what he wants to fight for. If pay-per-view is what, $60? How much does it cost? Let's say it's 60, and let's say they sell 1 million pay-per-views, which is an excellent number. That's $60 million, right? Yep. Okay, so $60 million, he wants a third of that right off the top. And then you would got to think, well, if he's going to fight Conor, Conor's going to take a third of that too, right? At least he's not going to take less than Nate. What's that?
You mean
Nate.
Oh yeah,
Nate,
yeah.
And he's going to fight Conor.
Yep.
So if he's going to fight Conor, Conor's going to take probably even more than that, right? So it's 20 and what, 25? So there's less for the UFC than those two guys. Well, that's how it is in boxing. That's how it is in like if you look at like the purses for like a lot of boxing matches, the way they have it described is like the big guys like Floyd Mayweather get a lion's share of the purse, and then everybody else gets less, including the promoters. Like, they
and
don't
then you
get as
got
much
ticket
as Floyd.
sales, which is probably just a couple million.
The ticket sales are probably pretty substantial, depending on where it is.
205, it was 17.7 million.
So there you go, 17.7 million in Madison Square Garden, right? And then what about that giant Vegas place? That the T-Mobile Arena in Vegas, that's a lot more people. When that sells out, what is that?
Wait, you're saying 17 million for one fight?
For one night.
In ticket sales?
Madison Square Garden.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So
then you got merchandise.
Right, but that's theirs, right? Because it's about the UFC, it's not about the fighter.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think, I mean, maybe if the fighter's selling, if they're selling Conor McGregor merchandise, that's a different story. Yeah, then they should definitely get a giant chunk of that. I don't know how much they get.
And then this isn't including sponsorships.
Well, there's no sponsors, right? The UFC has some sponsors in the Octagon. I mean, they have some movie sponsors and stuff, but as for the fighters, there's really no sponsors that they carry into the Octagon with them. The only sponsor is Reebok. And some people have a deal with Monster Energy drink. Again.
Yeah, I see guys putting hats on after they win.
Not always in the UFC, most likely in Bellator, or unless they have a Monster Energy drink deal, which the UFC also has a deal with. But it's real weird. For the longest time, they did. They had it all over their shorts. They would wear whatever they want. They would wear T-shirts coming into the Octagon based on. But then they signed this deal with Reebok, and a lot of people are upset about it. They have to wear Reebok stuff now.
Okay.
It's a hot point.
I'm sure. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, it is for a lot of fighters. For a lot of fighters, it's like it was hundreds of thousands of dollars. So, So it's in terms of like how much money is left then? Like how much does it cost to run a global organization like that? How much does it cost to keep the infrastructure alive? How much does it cost to upload everything to pay-per-view? How much does it cost to hire all these people? How much does it cost to put that production together?
Advertise.
So, right. So if it's only $60 million and then $15 million from, obviously I don't know, and there's got to be international shit too because they sell it internationally all over the world. I mean, the UFC's everywhere. So a big fight like Nate Diaz and Conor McGregor doesn't just sell in the United States, it sells everywhere. I don't know if that's all included. I don't know how they work that shit out. But my point is, when someone says he wants $20 million, that might make sense or that might not make sense. Like, I don't know what the numbers are. And also, you got to pay taxes. Like, if you're making all that money, if you're bringing in all that money, you got to pay taxes on that money. Who pays the taxes? Does the UFC pay the taxes first and then pay the fighters out of what's left? Do they all act as private contractors? That's a good question, but I don't know. But as far as, like, how much money they're making, I think for a guy like Conor McGregor, the correct answer would be a fuckload.
Yeah.
He's making fuckloads of money.
And what's that, 5 fights a year?
He's not fighting that often, but he's probably fought in the last 24 months. How many times has he fought in the last 24 months? He went on a crazy run, beat Aldo. He beat Dennis Seaver, Aldo, and then the Nate Diaz fight, Eddie Alvarez.
2015, so 1, 2, 3 times in 2015, 3 times in 2016.
Yeah, so that's about right. That's a lot of fighting.
So $50 million a year.
Every 4 months like that is very hard on your body. Very hard on your body.
Jesus.
Hard to do. But some guys like Cowboy Cerrone, he lives off that. That's what he loves.
Think about it if you break down the numbers, though, and granted, NFL or NBA has a lot more revenue coming in, but you're also paying, and NFL, you got, what, 44 guys on the team?
It's interesting that you
trainers,
say that.
all that fucking shit.
You should look at the number, put up the number of revenue, the amount of revenue that they bring in versus the UFC. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Like the NFL's like $375 billion. The UFC is like 2.
Yeah.
I mean, like, the difference is fucking preposterous.
Yeah.
Like, find out, there's a chart, like a graph that they can show you that somebody put together that shows you the NBA, the NFL, Major League Baseball, and MMA is like below hockey.
And you know that porn used to beat all of them put together. NBA, NFL, all of it. And
CBS, NBC, and ABC as well.
And all the major movies. All together. Dwarfed by porn.